Hello everybody, I am Brandman19 and welcome to episode 21 of our CSA campaign in Empire Total War, Brothers versus Brothers. We are slowly working our way down down Latin America to Panama. We do have peace with the United States for now. You know, I don't think they really want to play around with us, but if they ever felt the need, they could try. Of course, we've got plenty of troops everywhere. I mean, they're really going to have a hard time with any of it. We did take Montreal in the peace. I wish I could have forced them to not be friends with people, but I just don't think that's possible. These guys are continuing on. By the time they get there, we'll have to declare war on Great Britain, just because I need to take Quebec from them, and then that'll bring the United States to a war again. If I can quickly get a peace here, then that pretty much ends the entire campaign, other than doing what I want to do with these, what, four? One, two, three, no, three. There's only 3 more places I want. It's just hard to get down there. So hopefully we can quickly grab some of that stuff and we won't be messing around for too long. They want me to get Pennsylvania for trade. Yeah, see, it's just, you're not going to get what you want, so quit trying. I'm happy with just a normal one-on-one trade deal. The submarine H.L. Hunley. Many of you probably don't know about this thing. The H.L. Hunley, a small hand-powered submarine, was privately built at Mobile, Alabama in 1863, based on plans furnished by Confederate naval officer Horace Lawson Hunley. Successful trial, she is transported to Charleston, South Carolina, to serve in the defense of the port, but is damaged whilst moored next to a steamer and consequently sinks with loss of its 5-man crew. After being salvaged and repaired, she again sinks on 15th of October, 1863, while undergoing trials, again with the loss of all of her crew, which on that occasion also included Hunley himself. Again, she is raised and repaired, this time under orders to remain on the surface, and begins a series of attempts to attack U.S. ships blockading Charleston Harbor. On 17th of February, 1864, those efforts are successful when the submarine detonates a torpedo under the hull of the schooner USS Housatonic, sinking the ship. However, the H.L. Hunley fails to return from this mission, is presumed lost with all hands. I'm going to tell you something. The Hunley did indeed sail out here, sink the Housatonic. But because they left their hatch open, there are some rough seas at night, and it pretty much, the water roiled over into the Hunley herself, causing the Hunley to capsize, or to a founder, excuse me, and meaning she took on all that water and she pretty much sank herself. But it's pretty crazy. These guys worked in like a really, really, really small area, and I mean, they went and actually sunk a ship. You know, it wasn't quite like the turtle design, you know, from the American Revolution, but still, it's pretty cool. Green Bay. Church school up here makes it a little bit easier to hold Green Bay. Sir. These men are here. If we stepped away, what happens? Yeah, we start doing all right. Orders. Yeah, College of Divinity. I mean, we might as well get, we got to get everything we can possibly get here. Great Estates. It's in the turn. Yeah, those guys are just going to continually go back and forth. That's CSS Hunley versus Housatonic. Destroys the USS Housatonic with a torpedo in Charleston Harbor. Housatonic sinks without a loss of life. The Hunley also sinks, killing 9 men. Battle of Olustee. Near Ocean Pond, outside the town, the Olustee Brigadier General Truman Seymour of the U.S. attacked Brigadier General Joseph Finnegan of the CS, although evenly matched, the Confederates won. Okay. Let's get a state capital there. Make ready. Continue, please, as fast as you can. Sir. Ready for order. And we're just continually pushing down. I mean, you can see the U.S. United Province is willing to offer a military alliance. You know, it's not worth it because they're at war with the French. Colonel Custer in Harper's Weekly in early June 1863, a young Union cavalry officer named George Armstrong Custer showed particular bravery when confronting a Confederate force near Aldie, Virginia. Wearing a wide-brimmed straw hat, Custer led a cavalry charge that put him at one point in the midst of the Confederate force. Legend has it that the enemy, seeing Custer's distinctive hat, took him for one of their own, and in the confusion he was able to spur his horse and escape. He is only 23 years old at the time, and he is given command of the Michigan Cavalry Brigade. He's known for his natty uniforms and for having numerous photographic portraits taken of himself, but his flair for showmanship is also matched by brave action on the battlefield. At times, Custer is described as reckless, and he is known to purposely lead men into dangerous situations just to test their courage. However, despite many falls, Custer's skill as a cavalryman makes him a noteworthy figure, and he appears on the cover of the country's most popular magazine, Harper's Weekly, on March 19th, 1864. Yeah, Custer had a flair for wanting to be popular. He definitely would pose for pictures, and he'd strike these amazing poses, and people loved, and people loved it. People ate it up. And that same, hubris of his got him killed, and a lot of his men too. Later on, when he's in the Indian Wars, I couldn't even say that right. Let's take a look here. Anything construction-wise, Scranton, Pennsylvania. Yeah, we want palatial estates, classical universities. Yep, that stuff's going pretty well. Let's end the turn. Fort de Russy, the Union launched a joint naval and infantry expedition into Louisiana and advanced up the Red River, being forced to remove numerous obstacles that Confederate troops had placed in the river to prevent ships from entering. Eventually, they reached the formidable Fort de Russy, garrisoned by some 350 Confederates. Union forward parties engaged by a brigade of Confederates blocking the Fort de Russy road and are forced to withdraw from a brief skirmish. Murphy's Road Church is destroyed. During the occupation of Murphy's Road, Tennessee, few things angered local residents more than the destruction of the First Presbyterian Church and the desecration of the city cemetery by Union troops. During the winter of 1863 to 1864, Union troops altogether destroy the building. Wooden fixtures are used for firewood, and the brick is converted into ovens and fireplaces for campgrounds. There's absolutely nothing left of the structure by March 1864. Just to point out, that really screwed up Union and local Confederate relations. They really screwed the pooch on that one. Like, they could have had a much easier time controlling the town. They had such a hard time throughout the entire war. Just because, the Union was so, hell-bent on just not caring about Confederate citizenry in around Nashville, Tennessee. Okay, that looks good to me. Don't see anything through here. Nope, looks all... Oh, wait, there's this. College of Divinity. College of Divinity. We might as well go and get them both, right? It's end the turn. I mean, we're just trying to force our way there. Military alliance. I mean, you're just not worth it, man. Native Americans in the Civil War. During the period of 1861-1865, Native Americans all over the continent were struggling for autonomy. So Bruce just talks about Native Americans during the war. Most of them were using the Union still actually had to garrison areas out here to stop the Indians from attacking. So they were fighting like multi-front wars here. Of course, the main engagement was with the Confederates, but you can't just do that. Fight that way. We just got so much money being built up. It's just I have nothing to do with it all. Let's see. They're all the way up there. Maybe if I had one more force just sitting across from this, I'd feel better. But this guy's going to hit here. Hopefully that'll be enough to convince them not to attack. We'll keep an eye on that. In the turn, the Wilderness. Big battle that fought out here in Virginia. Basically, Grant, I can't think of his name. Yeah, Grant and Lee fought it out in there, and Grant really, it was a pretty bad situation. It was just men died because they burned up. Literally, all the fighting caught the woods on fire, and it was such a tinderbox that it just caught on fire everywhere. Not a good situation. Again, there's so many no good situations. War declared on me by the Union States. Looks like I'm going to be able to go to war now. I mean, come on, bring it down, bring it on. I could go on and take Niagara if I wanted to. I don't want to anger the French. Spotsylvania Courthouse. These dwindling Confederate forces continue to be harassed as they withdraw through Virginia and decide to make a stand at Spotsylvania Courthouse. Here, a 2-week-long battle ensues, comprising of a series of separate combats. The Union attack at Bloody Angle on 8 May captures an entire Confederate division and almost succeeds in cutting the entire Confederate army in two. Confederate counterattack is successful, and the fighting continues for a further 20 hours in what may well be the most ferociously sustained combat of the entire war. Union General Sedgwick and Rice are both killed, and Confederate Generals Johnson and Stewart are captured, and Demel and Perrin mortally wounded. On 21st of May, Grant disengages from the carnage and pushes on towards Richmond. Lots of bad stuff, but here we are. We got our own little thing going on. I don't really want to come across and fear that I'll lose this.
Yes, sir.
We need to continue moving up here, and then we'll declare war on Great Britain, whose only friend... Oh, they're allied with the United Provinces. I might be at war with the United Provinces before long, but United Provinces only own Curacao, so there's not really anything that's that big a deal. As long as I don't sit here and try to force allies into it, they may not be able to call them in. Or they may not try to call them in. Okay. Another enemy raid at Scranton. Yep, separation of powers. The Wade-Davis bill. Republican politicians Benjamin Wade and Henry Winter Davis sponsor a bill that provides for the administration of the affairs of southern states by provisional governors until the end of the war. So basically just putting in a bunch of governors to hold the area. Actually pretty good with everything there. Did that make my prestige go up a little bit? No, not really. Now we can get ready to do some long walks. 3 in front of us, then we attack. We can at least cross over. Then it'll be 2, I'm sure, after that. There we go. And the turn. They have some large armies out there, but they don't really have anything that could stop me, I don't think. What the heck. There we go. We'll make France a little mad, but that's alright. Cold Harbor. General Grant once again attacks Lee's Confederates, this time at Cold Harbor, Virginia, losing 7,000 men in 20 minutes of fighting. Although Lee's forces suffer far less casualties, his army never recovers from the continual Union attacks, and Cold Harbor proves to be Robert E. Lee's last clear victory of the war. Yep, pretty decisive combat, fight there, but it didn't work. In the end, it's still using up troops that Lee can't reinforce or anything. So Grant at this point is just like, I got more men, I'm just going to send them in the meat grinder, and we'll win this war one way or another. 35-37 versus all that. Let's attack, yeah. Might as well. We've been just walking and waltzing around. Another Grant quote: "In every battle, there comes a time when both sides consider themselves beaten. Then he who continues the attack wins." Yep. You think you're beat, just wait. See if you can do any more. All right. Wait, what? I didn't even remember clicking to start it, but okay. I don't remember starting it, so again, I'm not a big fan of what's about to happen. There we go. Went ahead and attacked those two. Okay, let's move these guys up to here. Come on, men, hurry it up. And lock these guys into place. And then we'll be ready to start firing now. Yep, we're already hitting them there. Hitting these guys here. He's shattered. Shattered, broken, shattered. There you go. Killed a general in the process. Just superior Confederate force. Oh well, they got themselves into square formation. Not that that does you any good, but I mean, still kind of cool that you did it. Keep firing. Go ahead and hit that group. Yep. Continue firing on these guys. Keep firing, boys. Yep, we broke him. Here, he's broken, but for some reason he keeps firing according to that, so... Run to position. Move forward to there. Run 2. There you go, crashing their party pretty well. Yep, in the battle. Close victory. Yeah, right. I demolished them. Alright, we killed 689 to lose 284 of our own.
Ready for order.
Just say we're a little bit closer. All good there.
Make ready.
Yeah, we're really like one assault away from taking that part of Grand Columbia. I mean, the rest of these guys will probably get involved, but we'll just have to see. You're still 2 turns away, and then we can begin an assault on Quebec. And then we could probably then just go ahead and say we're done with all that. And, well, technically the whole campaign will be over. but I still probably have another few episodes to take this stuff. So, all right, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this one right here. I appreciate y'all so much for watching. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Maybe check out the link for Discord in the description below, and I'll see you all next time.